Here's some correspondence I got a while back. It says, Dear Brian, you said that whenever it's not possible to put physical distance between you and somebody who's unhealthy or bad for you, that you should put emotional distance between you and them instead. Now, the reason I had this conversation was because a lot of folks, a lot of Indians in India, especially females, I know that it is customary for them to continue living with their families until marriage or until they gain a certain amount of independence where they would move out. It's different than the American culture. In the American culture, we turn 18, 19, we're gone. And the way I understand it, in India, it's not like that. In India, it's very customary for young women to continue living at home. And, the financial situation over there is different. Economics is what I mean. And so I've talked to Indian followers of the Last Symptom, and they've said, hey, it's not feasible for me to be living on my own. Yeah, I still live at home with my folks. We're talking about people who are, women who are in their 20s and even 30s. They say, if I can't get away from this really unhealthy environment, if that's not feasible for me, then what should I do? And what I've told them is that the idea is the same. You want to create distance. So if you can't create physical distance from an unhealthy influence, then what you got to do is you got to create emotional distance from that emotionally unhealthy influence. So imagine that you're still stuck at home living with your folks. You got to see them every day, those sorts of things. You can still create distance emotionally by not engaging with them in the ways that you would if there was just no problems whatsoever. You wouldn't share certain things with them. You'd keep a lot to yourself or find somebody else to share those intimate things with rather than just opening yourself up to those people. Because what's going to happen is that they're going to use that against you. It's going to create a lot of frustration, a lot of unhappiness, a lot of angst, a lot of conflict. So that's what I mean, is you just don't share those things with them. You don't open yourself up that way to them. You create that emotional distance. If you think about it, anything that's inside of you as private and personal to you, nobody has access to that. It doesn't matter if you live with a person or you don't. You get to choose everything that you will share with somebody. So even if you live in the same house, you can create almost the identical conditions, if not physically, emotionally. So think about my father. We have no contact. Think about what that means. It means I don't share with him the things that are going on in my life, the things that are important to me, the things I'm working on, the things I'm thinking about, because we have no contact whatsoever. Now, let's say that my dad and I were living in the exact same house. Could I still do that? Sure, I could. I still get to choose who I'm going to share those things with. Nobody can access anything that is inside of me unless I choose to share it. Right? So that's the distance I'm talking about. Don't open yourself up to and engage in that way with people who are not a good influence on you. Even if you live in the same house with them, you can keep it, let's say, professional. You share with them what absolutely must be shared with them in order to live life and no more. Hey, I paid the electric bill. Oh, great. Why'd you do that for? Well, because I wanted to do my share. You're just stating the superficial facts. You're not going any further than that. Oh, I did it because this is the way I feel, and I feel like I'm not doing enough. And you don't need to do all that. Keep distance, even though physically you can't. This person who wrote to me says, you said that whenever it's not possible to put physical distance between you and somebody who's unhealthy or bad for you, you should put emotional distance between you and them instead. How do you do that? Well, we just talked about how you do that, right? You still have to have interactions with them, but you keep it almost like this is a workmate. This is not my friend. This is just somebody I'm doing business with. I have to do business with this person. I will keep it on a business level.